Assalamualaikum and hi. So yeah, I'm. I bet not all of you knows that I am a Muslim by a religion. So today, I really want to talk about some bullshit and some stigma that for all of us who suffered with mental illness, depressions, anxiety, bipolar disorders, and borderline personality disorders, schizophrenia, and whatsoever about what the bullshit that we have to go through every day, and then what are the stigma that people has been tormenting us with. So basically, the most common thing about depression for me as a Muslim, I've got my notebook on here so that I won't be forgetting any of my points. So I've got quite an awesome mind map to actually have something to talk about. So yeah, the first thing first is like there's especially in the Muslim communities that the Muslim have this kind of stigma saying you, a Muslim, you can't be depressed. And I don't know exactly why, because depression, anxiety is practically a mental in general is a mental illness, it's a disease, and honestly anybody could actually have it, whether you're Muslim or Christians or whatever. I guess it's basically have link with culture point of view where we don't really talk about it, where we oftentimes got a stigma saying that you shouldn't be depressed, you should be reading a lot of your uh, prayers, you should be performing all your supplication, you should be doing more of your reading the Quran and that kind of stuff. So as a Muslim, that kind of hurting, I guess, because people are actually in one way or another saying that by doing all those things you can actually get better, whilst you don't say such thing to people who are actually having diabetes or having heart problem, heart failure, to just like read the Quran, do a lot of prayers and do your salah, and then after that you can get better. So basically I think that really have to do with our religions, and that have to do with not religion, it have to do a lot with our culture where we don't really talk about it. And then for this situation, culture and religion does not go hand in hand, where culture is a separate thing and culture can't be wrong, and then religion is not necessarily the solution for everything, where you actually have to seek a professional advice for it. For example, you're going for therapy or seek a professional help, advice, therapies, psychiatrists, and that kind of stuff. And then know the fact that Islam does not forbid us from having this depression. It's not that we wanted to have this depression, but Islam does not, meaning that if you have a depression, what I'm trying to say, it doesn't make you a sinner if you happen to have the depressions. And that's the first thing. And then the second thing is just that what we oftentimes had to deal with it, where people actually just say that snap out of it. Oh, this is actually the hardest one, where if we could actually snap out of it, we have done it earlier, and then we don't really have to dwell with it every single day. We don't really have to snap, we don't really have to struggle with it, struggle to actually waking up every single day, struggle to actually getting ourselves ready, struggle to just face another day, because we can just snap out of it. And then some other people might say that just go outside, go for a walk and get a fresh air. Whoa, I don't know that. I don't know. Wow, thank you very much. I don't know that helps. If it really helps and I have done it earlier, then I don't know that. I don't know that's is basically the main solution for what I've been going through. And try snap out of it, and then most of the people said try snap out of it, and then why don't you try break your own foot and snap out of it. Does it even make sense for you? And same goes with us, where we're actually having this mental illness and we can't just literally snap out of it. And then there's another thing, mm, there and when people say that just snap out of it, as if there's a button, there's a switch for us to actually turn it on when we wanted to have a depression, and then turn it off when we felt like we doesn't want it. If we do, then we are really wanted to get a surgery and install it in my brain or something, so I just turn it on and turn it off whenever I want it. And most of the time I'll be turning it off because I don't want to deal with this every single fucking days. And then another thing, it kind of common among men, where people say men don't get depressed. I guess it has to do a lot of with the fact that we men doesn't really talk about what we feels. We doesn't really associate ourselves with emotions. We don't really cry, and then most of the stigma of being growing up as a men don't cry, boys don't cry. But basically, just know the fact that we men and boys, we just another human being, and we just like you have an emotion, and then when that emotion overwhelms us, it can get even worse. For example, people get outraged, people get angry about it, people get agitated by it. It's just like time ticking bomb. You're not solving the problem at all. But instead of you just dismiss people from actually having emotion, and then when it's built up, it's just like time ticking bomb when it explodes, and you've literally got no hand for it, and then it just consume you out alive, and then that's gonna be a tough one for you to actually deal with it eventually after all. And then the last one, probably the most important thing is, for me, if you're weak, if you take medication, honestly, taking medication does not portray or does not mirror your strength or whatsoever. It's just the fact that we just need an extra hand, an extra help from outside, and then medication could be the solution for it. And honestly, medicine doesn't really necessarily get helps to get better, but it helps us to actually make us feel a bit better about ourselves so that we can actually go through day by day. I mean, yeah. And then it's the fact that medicine does not fix us completely, and most of the time it doesn't cure us in just a split second, just like that. No, but what it does is good, and then medicine not gonna be available throughout your entire life. You just have to actually help yourself. I mean, that's what's important about this journey of having depression, anxiety, and all the mental illness, to actually have a really good support system. It might be your family, your friends, your partner, whatsoever. All these people might be and can be your happy pills for you to actually get better, and then eventually you get motivated again. Eventually they will understand what you're going through. It's not something that easy, and just being there, just being them by them being just being there by our side is actually a really big helps. So yeah, that's basically just it for me. And then as final words, actually I'm not gonna say that I have a good day today, but it was kind of relieving because I finally talked with my parents about it. They knew the fact that I've been struggling with depression, but they don't know the real story out of it. How did I fall into it? Yeah, it was kind of heart to heart talking. I was like crying at the coffee shop and whatsoever. I was sobbing, and I wet myself there and then that kind of stuff. So yeah, final thoughts and final say as what I always say, keep strong, just pushing on and stay alive, man. Just stay alive even for another day. So yeah, peace out and ciao.